Everybody, this is NYC Geek Society. Jon and Axel here. We just watched the Ghost of Tsushima panel, and so of course that's the game by Sucker Punch, who are the guys that are most famous for the Infamous series of games. And so of course this is a samurai game in feudal Japan during the Mongol invasion, I believe.
Yeah, so this is like the 1200s or I think 13th century
Right.
Japan. And I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer, but there's just this majestic beauty to it, and immediately when you see the trailer, there's these what was it, pampas flowers that you see, and they mentioned in the conference or the panel that there are like half a million of these flowers that exist and are flowing when you see it. So it almost feels like they're dancing in front of you. And when you go past the flowers, there's like 30,000 leaves. So I mean, they're definitely tapping into the deep technical sides of the of the PlayStation 4.
I mean, what do you feel about that? Like, I was thinking about how we've been talking about, a lot yesterday of sort of meaning in video games because things are kind of put there, consciously. But now when everything's kind of procedurally generated, do you think that kind of takes something out of it?
Yeah.
Like sort of the artistic vision of it?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because they also mentioned that the clouds and
The wind.
basically the weather is procedurally generated in this game, and I guess I feel like it does take away from like the personal feel of the artists or developers that are making this game. Like, even when we make this video, it's about us showing you like what we think, and when the developers make their game, we want to see what their interpretation is rather than a machine.
Right, it's maybe less of an artistic vision.
Yeah.
But it still looks beautiful, of course.
It still looks beautiful, and it's certainly innovative.
But I think that might be one of the things that eventually bores me about open world games, that it is more like reality, because it is random and chaotic, and there's no purpose to anything. It's just there, instead of like if I play Uncharted, for example, like
that game has like a certain person's or a
company,
a handful of people's vision.
Yeah, it has like an artistic vision, but I guess that's just about personal preference, maybe. Something that I thought was interesting is when they were talking, he was talking about their initial idea was what makes a great open world game. And they said like a character-based fantasy. So a character in a specific place and time. I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if that's just for what makes a good open world game. Maybe that's just what makes a good story. But
yeah.
But I guess it does play into what we've kind of discussed before, that if you're gonna get into an open world game, it has to be an interesting environment. It has to be a place that you want to explore for dozens, sometimes even hundreds of hours on end.
Yeah.
And also when it comes to samurai games, they chose that because also he kind of makes a valid point. No one's really done that on a large scale this generation. Like, I remember, like, growing up, I felt like everything was so Japanese-based because most video games came out of Japan,
So it's almost like we're bringing it back to that era.
Yeah, like, when was the last time that you saw, like, a AAA samurai game? Like, it's been a long time.
Onimusha.
Yeah, but that was, like, 2 generations ago.
I still love you. I mean, they were also talking about like how they ended up going to Japan and actually going to Tsushima Island, which is a real island. They went to the beach where the invasion happened. The invasion happened in the fall, So that's why the trailer is based in the fall, and you have the leaves falling, and like basically like all this environmental dynamicism happening at once. And they just say in general that's just what Japan is like. There's just like a lot of life going on. It's kind of like Seattle, which we refer to as the evergreen state, and they say it's like that's the evergreen country.
Right, Sucker Punch is based in Seattle. What's interesting too is that the time period that this game takes place, it's the first time gunpowder was used in Japan. So you can imagine like how terrifying that would be.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, again, back to the weather. What was so impressive to me when I saw the demo, at the PlayStation conference, is just the dynamic wind. Just the amount of math that must be going into seeing like 500,000 of those pampas flowers like moving according to this wind. It's just that is very impressive. But
it's impressive, but I'm more concerned about the story and the gameplay. And something that kind of bothered me, because I'm kind of like a stealth fanatic. Every time I play Metal Gear, and I hate bringing up Metal Gear all the time, but it's such a good game. Like in what is it, Metal Gear Solid 5, you have like the choice to either play in a stealthy sort of way or an action-oriented way, and that's kind of the approach that they're going with over here. It isn't like a stealth section or an action section. It's a blend of whatever you want it to be. So you can go gung-ho or you can sneak around.
So you said that bothered you?
Yeah, because I'd rather it, I don't know, maybe I just like things being linear.
So you don't want the player to have that choice, you're saying?
No, because it kind of takes away from the story if you're... And it also goes back to what we were saying about like the procedurally generated levels. There's just something lost there. I kind of like it when games have a specific vision, not a whatever you want to do goes, because then the game loses meaning.
Right. I mean, it's kind of interesting that you say that, just because, like, again, talking about Metal Gear. The Metal Gear Solid series, you pretty much always could go in guns blazing, but Kojima...
It doesn't feel right.
But Kojima always said, if you try to do that, it's going to be that, like, exponentially more difficult, to pull that off. So he kind of, like, almost punished you for doing it, but still allowed you to try, But, again, Kojima's so much of a perfectionist, he kind of, except for Metal Gear Solid 5, like, which was a lot more open. But
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with this game.
It's just, that's the thing. Like, it's beautiful, it's visually impressive, but I just always feel personally like I eventually get very bored with open world games and rarely ever finish them because... there's less of that artistic vision, and you just kind of end up feeling like you're wandering around and accomplishing nothing.
Yeah, it's like the story is kind of like scattered everywhere, and the game starts to lose that draw, that pull that it once had. Because when you see like those cutscenes, for me personally, that's what keeps me in the game. It's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next to
feeling like
character?
You're a part of a story.
Yeah, but when you're just like exploring and it's like, let's get the loot or whatever the hell it is, it kind of loses that appeal. Even if it does have fantastic cutscenes, then you're kind of thinking, how long is it going to take until my character starts growing again?
Right. From a narrative perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I think we should wrap it up. So thank you like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. And check out our other videos and ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
And NYC Geek Out.
We appreciate you guys.